All right, welcome to my playtest for Block In. Let's boot the game up. Appreciate the title. Always nice to have a title that's unique or play on words. Right. Game defaults to window mode. That's fine. All right, right away we get a settings menu. All right. No default resolution to the current monitor, but that's fine. Just do that and full screen. Okay. This is good. Linking to a Discord or socials. Um, do not touch under any circumstances. Huh. So you put the do not press the button dilemma right inside of the settings option, which I'm very tempted to click this, but I won't. It says do not touch under any circumstances, so I won't touch it. Alright, good. Master volume. Music and sound effects being a separate slider. Got full screen, no graphics options right now. This is good. I know it's just a demo, but even for the demo, these are the things you gotta have. I really appreciate music and sound effects being separate. This is really good. Surprising amount of games don't do this. I'm someone who I always prefer the music pumping and the sound effects to be a bit quieter, so I really appreciate this. It's a nice little settings menu. We got the full screen, although the full screen isn't exactly full screening, but if I press the full screen button. Okay, so full screen, not sure if this is my computer, or maybe it'll go into full screen during the game, or maybe it's just not yet implemented, but full screen doesn't actually work. It stays in a window, and even when I maximize, it doesn't actually completely fill up my monitor. I can still see my taskbar and the program bar at the top of Windows, but that's fine. You know, those kinds of things always to be done. People will forgive a demo, especially for an in-development game, so I wouldn't worry too much about those. But yeah, these being separate, always good. Always good to have music and sound effects separate. I'll max both of them and play with them later. Uh, let's see, game audio looks a little quiet relative to the recording. Let me boost that up. Let me actually open my Windows settings, volume mixer. Okay, settings, mixer volume. It is quiet, so I'll turn. Oh, okay. This is not a linear scale according to my ears. Okay. That's good. I have pretty loud headphones. Turn this down a little. Let me check the audio balance. All right, that's good. Okay, so demo build, but very acceptable functions. I'd say you actually have the most important things here, which is music and sound effects being separated. This is so good. Okay. New game. All right, we got classes that are locked off. You want the player that gets some initial progression in, which is, you know, a sense of progression is always good. Some players will prefer jumping into more complex stuff right away, but all right, that just falls off. I guess it's because we're still in development. That's cute. All right, I guess we'll just jump right in. All right, we're in. We're a little rectangle, a little less blocky. No tutorials to find anywhere for controls, but default to WASD movement, and you have the arrow keys as an alternative. Also good. Some players prefer like a guided tutorial, but you know, if you want the player to jump straight in, that's always an option too. I have to actually grab the pistol. All right. And we're going. Alright, we got reload mechanics. They are automatic. Left click to shoot wasn't explained, but always natural. You know, 90% of people are going to naturally pick up on control, but you should worry about that 10%. You know, you don't want to ever leave anybody out. So, definitely think about adding a guided tutorial, even if it really is as simple as just walk around and shoot. Is this playing the music? Can I actually turn this off? Alright, let's take a look at the UI. We got a timer going in the top left. We got a little inventory. We got XP bar. We got, I'm assuming this is HP. It's, you know, a reddish color, which usually denotes HP. No ammo reserve, so it seems like as long as I reload, I can keep shooting forever. We did level up. We're gonna level up again soon. Is my gun damage actually going up with my level? Gotta collect all these, so the white ones are XP. I'm assuming the yellow ones are some kind of currency. I don't see a currency indicator anywhere on the screen, but they certainly look like coins. Alright, let's explore this map. Does it loop, or is there a bottom? Oh, press E. Alright, good, that's on screen. Because, wasn't given any controls. Don't really have time to read the stats. Is there a pause? Okay, we got a pause. That's always good. And we got settings from the pause menu. Alright. Grab it. Oh, press E. Alright, E to grab. And then we got gun selection. Very diegetic from the UI, but again, you know, always think about adding a tutorial, no matter how simple you think your game is. Of course, you're going to think it's simple if you made it. Alright, so shotgun's pretty low damage, but this is a pretty big swarm of enemies. But I actually think, DPS-wise, it looks like my pistol is more effective. How do I get back to my pistol? I have, 2 shotguns. Not sure if that's a bug, if I, like, double picked up the shotgun. Seems like my pistol's actually completely disappeared. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, 1, 2 are gun buttons. I can tell by pressing them, making the icons move around down there, but seems like I've actually just lost my pistol entirely. And I have 2 copies of the shotgun? Not sure how that happened. Alright. Now let's see, is the map... Alright, so this is the bottom. Okay, so the map does not loop. Enemies are pretty basic, not much of a threat here as long as I run a train properly. More XP. Alright, I want another gun. Let's see if I can find another gun. And I'd love to have my pistol thing. Okay, there we go. Oh my god, I actually died. Alright. I'm not sure if it's E to pick up guns. It's E to open the crates, but... This is a nice little song, by the way. I do like the music. I'm not sure what's happening here with the enemies flipping their rotation. Very minor detail, you know. You're not going to be causing any seizures with that, but... Enemy slain, 122. Experience, 259. Alright, do I actually get to keep that experience? Is this a permanent progression system? Always a fan of permanent progression systems in games like these. I'm not a huge fan of the, you know, roguelike exactly, where when you die it's over. I like something to keep you going in between rounds and get you slightly stronger. Alright, we got restart and take a break. So if I take a break, that's going to bring me back to the main menu. And it doesn't say it, but it's I like that. It just falls off. That's a good, cute little detail. I don't know if this is the XP bar in the main menu, and it carries over. I'm gonna assume it is. I don't remember this blue bar being here at the start. So let's just play more. Let's jump right back into it. All right, so my X speed has reset. So I'm not sure what that blue bar was an indication of. Oh, was this little tutorial guy here before? Am I actually blind? I must have completely missed that. Must have been focused on the pistol and the enemies instead. I totally did not see that guy if he was there before. Yeah, you can always make the assumption that, you know, people will just figure out the controls, but not always. You know. You should have a little tutorial. No matter how natural you think your game is designed to get players picked up and playing the game in a diegetic way, you should always have a tutorial of some sort. Alright, so we got my pistol back this time. There's no, like, stats menu. Alright. Only seen one enemy type so far. Pretty, mindless horde-like. Which is always good, you know, love killing stuff. Looks like bigger guys have more HP than the small guys. That's good. So even though they're the same enemy type, you got some naturalized variety within its own type. Yeah, wow, these big guys are tanky. And leveling up does increase your gun damage, alright. Maybe if I get a high enough level, I'll get my HP to go up. Let's go back to exploring the map. Alright, I press E to open. Okay, it's just XP. Alright, gotta be careful. Don't want to trap yourself in a corner. Oh, I got a little dash, alright. We're 10 minutes into gameplay and I only just figured out I have a dash, so you know. That's why it's always good to, you know, whether you want to put a tutorial, even a little menu that just lays out all the controls in the main menu that you can click on that just says controls, you know. Anything helps. Alright. Okay, so the game is still running in this little upgrade menu. Makes it a lot easier to avoid enemies, obviously. This bullet time would be kind of OP. Will this just last forever if I don't upgrade? Because now my level gameplay has been greatly artificially increased by the slowdown, so... Something to keep in mind, you know, you don't want the game to become easier permanently by, like, abusing this, so... You'll want it to fall down eventually if you don't press anything. Okay, seems like it's not going to go away, or it's got a reasonable timer on it to not rush anybody to make any decisions in case they were in the middle of a sticky situation. Let's level up character. HP? Okay, HP. Let's do a... Let's do a... Well, obviously extra speed 3 is going to be better than extra speed 2. I'll take extra speed 3. Ah, okay, now we're really bouncing. Okay. That's quite the upgrade. The map design is kind of varied with all the little nooks and crannies. You got to really pay attention to where you are on the map and get used to it because it'd be pretty easy to screw yourself over. I'm actually... Yeah, I can't... You can only move through parts of this shrubbery, and you're obfuscated. And this is straight up a corner, so... Alright. Well, obviously I wouldn't be able to be allowed to walk into the Black Void in the final version, presumably, but if this was a dead end, you know, pretty easy to trap yourself here. So the player will get map awareness, so it actually matters through repeated playthroughs, which is good. And I haven't seen an enemy in a while. Did they get stuck or did something bug out? I'm not sure. Let's go hunting. Try to move our way back to the middle of the map here. Oh my god. I almost just took a hit there. There they are. I'm not sure if I just ran off too fast or they got stuck on something. Okay. Critical damage, more spread, less spread. Let's do a critical damage. More damage. More damage is always good. Not sure why you want more spread. Okay, you gotta be careful because they just like come out of the shrubbery. I almost took a hit there. I still only have 2 HP, so. Yeah, they're actually just getting straight up stuck here. You know, obviously if you can trick the AI into getting stuck, that makes the game a lot easier. I'm not sure what they're getting stuck on, whether it's the pathing or the actual, because I don't know if like they get blocked by the chest. I'm actually not sure what's happening here. If the chest has collision just for enemies, but not you. You know, I love critical strike in games. Nothing feels better than a good crit. Look at those big yellow numbers. You know, maybe have it scale inverse with the crit chance, but a little extra flair on the crit would go a long way. Whether you make the numbers like slightly shake, you know, always got to keep in mind stuff like game feel. Alright, it's a bit risky of a pickup. I know it's just a demo and it's under progress, but you definitely want some enemy variation. As long as you're on your toes, the block guys aren't very threatening, although as you get the higher rounds, they could always come in from multiple directions. The damage does not feel very good to use. Specifically, the ending lag on it's pretty rough, and you don't really get to move that much faster than your movement speed, so maybe put the dash on a cooldown. Actually, it already is on a cooldown. Maybe just get rid of that ending lag completely. The dash does not feel super good to use. You know, if it traveled you further and faster, a little ending lag makes sense, but I don't think it's powerful enough to really justify the end lag. Alright. I want that shotgun, but there seems to be a lot of enemies in that direction. And I don't want my pistol to disappear either. Okay, let's get even more speed. Oh yeah, I'm really zooming now. Wow, there's so many enemies. Let's see, you can't hold down left click, gotta click every time. That's a game design choice, obviously. It'll get pretty tiring though with a single fire weapon, so maybe add like an option to just hold left click and maybe make it so that if you aren't spamming it, it fires a little slower to, you know, give something to the player to optimize their mouse clicks. But my wrist will get tired eventually if I just have to keep spamming left click like this. Because when you have this giant horde of enemies, obviously you want to just keep going. So I did press E there to wow, okay. So I wasn't paying super close attention to it with my movement. I kind of moved back to the area where I was before, and I got killed for that, so. Yeah, it doesn't seem like anything carries over, which is fine. I could maybe try the new class now? Let's see, can I try the gunner? Yes, I can try the gunner. No customization for the gunner. Except for strength and firepower. Deploys in the turret that inherits your current weapon and its modifications. All right, that's pretty good. And I'm gonna assume so. You probably get reduced speed. I'm assuming this is like the all-rounder. Let's give the gunner a shot. Although I am a bit worried. The enemies come on fast. I'm not sure if they were getting stuck in the map somewhere or the round difficulty just improves that fast. And I'm actually starting with the shotgun here. I'm not sure if that's just randomized or an effect of the gunner. I'm not sure if there's like a waves system or if it's just time-based on the spawns. I'm actually not sure, but at the end of my previous playthrough, a lot of enemies came in very quickly. Okay, gotta make sure I'm actually collecting XP as well. Let's try this turret ability. Alright, that's pretty good. Yeah, look at that. That's a pretty good ability. And it's got a pretty nice cooldown as well. And I had a lot more HP to work with. And I'm really not that much slower either. Alright, let's find like a new god. So I explored the east side of the map on my last playthrough. Let's go north. Alright, now I want that gun. There's a bit of a problem though. This massive swarm of enemies is in my way. Come on, man. I just want the gun. Alright, eat. Okay. Yeah, there we go. That's a lot better. Pretty satisfying ability on the gunner here. That turret's quite good. Oh, okay, I have to actually click these to get my level up. Okay, I didn't know that. I must have been accidentally clicking that on my previous playthrough. I was wondering why the upgrade screen seemed to be circumstantial. Let's do raw damage. Just kind of want more raw damage. We'll do extra health. And can I get some extra movement speed? Movement speed would be really good on the gunner here, since he's naturally slower to begin with. Always want to keep in stuff like that for the balance in the metagame, you know, like oh, the gunner's got really good damage, but he's slow, but the speed level ups are really good, so, you know, because the speed level ups are good, the weaknesses of the gunner are the easiest class to offset with upgrades. Gotta manage my enemies properly to actually be able to collect all my upgrades. Not what sure the gold is for. Seems like the little white dots are XP. Haven't really seen like a shop or anything I can access. Maybe somewhere on the map. Let's I'll keep exploring. I went to the east side. Oh. Yeah, turret cooldown for sure. Visibility is really good. Yeah, I'll just take turret cooldown again. No enemy variation yet. I know it's a demo and under progress, but wow, that guy basically spawned on top of me. The song is actually. Did I? No, it's can't. I actually can't pull this slider right now for some reason. Maybe these are locked while you're actually in the game. Whoa! What the heck? All right, something about the pause menu in the game specifically like breaks the main menu. Now my game is super quiet. Okay, really hold and make sure you like hold for a second and really, huh? Not sure what's up with that. I'm holding left click here and waiting on it, trying to do it fast, clicking other places on the bar, and it's really picky. There we go. It's like if you're at an in-between option, it's way harder to pick up the little nodule. I mean, it's in the middle of the pause menu, so it's not like anybody's gonna die because of that, but it's a bit unwieldy and annoying to deal with. That's it. But, I am. Okay, there we go. I was only going to see if I turned up the music. I don't know if I didn't realize it before how varied the. Wow, that's still really loud. It's almost like the music has like some filter over it, like a. I'm not sure what's going on. I can't really put my finger on it, but the music sounds like it's hiding behind a layer or something. Okay, I said I was going to explore the map. Let's go up. Again, gotta be careful. And there's no enemies now, which makes me worried that the same thing's going to happen as last time where I died, where the enemies are spawning and stacking up somewhere, and they're about to, once I free them from wherever they're stuck, they're going to swarm me. Like, they get stuck on these trees. This corner with this box seems to be pretty noticeable stuck spot. Let's get more damage. Okay, that's pretty good. 3 is a lot. Okay, I'm a little scared. If I go down here, am I gonna unleash the horde? I can't really tell. I get this spooky feeling that enemies are building up on the map somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Oh man, I gotta be careful when I'm running here. Oh, if there were some enemies straight above me right now, I'd be in a pickle. But, Gunner's got a lot of HP, so... More damage. Definitely need more damage. These things are starting to get tanky. Alright, let's do raw damage. 5 raw damage right now is going to be a lot better than 5% crit chance. So it's not easy for me to deduce what exactly my crit chance is to begin with. There's no like stats menu for the character, so I really can't make an informed decision about whether or not I want more crit chance or whether I want raw damage. So maybe keep that in mind. You know, have a little stat screen your player can look at. Yeah, okay, here we go. I don't know if these enemies were hiding somewhere, but this went from not seeing anybody for a couple minutes to like a massive horde. So I'm not sure what's going on there. Yeah, they're getting stuck hard here. I'm not sure if that's intentional, like, you know, you're supposed to manipulate the enemies like that, but these trees seem to be a problem point for the enemy pathing and AI. You could always make it like conditional, you know, like if they haven't moved in 5 seconds, let them move through stuff for 5 seconds. Something like that, just to make sure that enemies off screen aren't getting stuck for a long time and causing them to build up. Because, like, yeah, that is a big stack right there. So maybe you're, you know, it is block themed, so maybe it's like a mini Tetris that player's supposed to play with the AI, or maybe it's intentional. I actually could see it being intentional, but be an interesting design choice and kind of hard to balance around. Uh-oh. Yeah, these enemies are getting stuck hard. It does feel satisfying to shoot them, though, when they are stuck like that. It's like shooting crabs in a barrel. Look at all this XP. Yeah, a character stats menu would be nice. It'd be nice to see, you know, so the player can make informed decisions about what exactly they want to upgrade. Because, like, I don't know what my base crit chance is. Yeah, that base damage upgrade goes a lot harder than a crit for now. You know, some players will, you know, and if someone writes a guide, they'll just go by the guide, and some players will actually want to map it out themselves based on their own gameplay experience. Me personally, I don't like using guides. I want to see the stat screen so I can decide my own build by myself. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if these enemies were stuck somewhere, or if it's like in between waves, but this is a lot of enemies. Let's see, I need more damage. I don't know how much 0.5 is, but fire rate's always good. Obviously, that's going to be offset by the reload, though. More turret cooldown. Okay, I forget where the top of the map is, but I gotta start moving left here soon. Because this swarm is wide. So, you know, you need lots of space to kite them around. So, like, a flat 3 is huge. Okay, I gotta start circling back now so I can actually collect all this XP. It forces your player to really think about where they're killing enemies if you gotta go collect the XP yourself. You gotta double back on the route you just killed a bunch so you can actually get the fruits of your labor. I'll keep going. I'll see how high I can get. Some enemy variation would be pretty big here. You know, whether it, even just one other thing, like maybe guys who shoot back at you, although, you know, those types of things can always be annoying to deal with. Maybe like enemies that move faster but have less HP. Maybe enemies that are like flying so they don't collide. Some type of enemy variation. Let's move faster. Yeah, there we go. And movement speed's quite good on the gunner because the gunner is very strong in baseline stats. He's got a great ability, but just one movement speed upgrade basically offsets all the negatives that the gunner was supposed to have. Huh. Yeah, the waves of enemies get big and they come in fast. So I'm not sure if they're getting stuck somewhere or if that's like intentional wave design. I gotta be careful here. Yeah, wow. Okay. Big move speed is huge here. If I did not take that move speed upgrade, I definitely would have died. Those are some big crit numbers now. Uh-oh. Yo, this is a lot of enemies. Yeah, definitely just, I need more raw damage here. My crits are big now. So now it's definitely worth going for crit chance. Alright, I'm just gonna keep going. I'll see how high I can get. Definitely on my toes now. If I make a wrong move, I'm gonna get trapped in this giant swarm of enemies, and that'll be death pretty fast even with my HP. I don't think I have the firepower to really carve my way out of them, so to speak. Yeah, more damage. Fire rate. Definitely just need more damage. This is a very comfortable amount of movement speed. I'm not sure if the enemies are getting faster. I think they are. They're definitely faster than they were at the beginning, actually. And let me... wow, okay, these guys are just stuck. Yeah, maybe make the block guys not collide with the player treasure boxes. Because, you know, it makes sense that the player can get stuck on them, but they're small enough that I don't think you need to worry about, you know, players going, oh, that's bullshit that I get stuck on those, but they don't, you know. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah, wow. Alright, I'm not sure, exactly what's happening there. Whether enemies are getting built up somewhere, or that's just the natural progression of the wave system. Yeah, I'm gonna guess all the other classes are currently under development. This guy had a little number to indicate that I could actually unlock him, but I'd love to try some of these other classes, honestly. Oh, gambling, randomness. Oh, that sounds actually pretty fun. I actually want to try that one. I'm curious how that plays. But you know, I definitely I like what is here. Add a little more game feel. Big crit should be a little more, you know, you can make it scale like correlate with the damage, but big crit should be bigger numbers. Maybe make them like shake a little or something like that. Figure out what's going on with the enemy AI because I'm seeing stuff around the map getting stuck, so I'm really not sure if like whether whether or not it's like intentional design or if enemies are getting stuck on stuff and I'm getting swarmed. Because I went from having it under control there to being completely overwhelmed in about 5 seconds. Some type of permanent progression that just doesn't involve picking classes, scalable difficulty. All those things can make games way more addicting, but yeah. No, it's good. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio there specifically. But yeah. All right, now that we're at the end of my playtest, I'm let's go press this button. Okay. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get jump scared or what. But yeah, whether you gotta make fixer rounds, like if an enemy hasn't moved enough in 5 seconds, you know, make it so they don't get stuck on stuff. Whatever fix you gotta do, anything is you don't want enemies getting stuck like that. Unless it's part of the intentional design, but I feel like you'd have a hard time balancing around that. I don't really have any other partying thoughts. It's fun. I want to try these other classes. Cannot use ranged weapons, huh? I wonder how that works. These actually, yeah, these locked classes for the demo, they leave me wanting more. I do want to try this Jim Han, this RNG based shooter guy. Yeah, what's here is good. Just yeah, the enemy AI specifically. Really don't want them getting stuff like that, I feel.